Do y'all want to hear it one more time? Okay, we do it one more time. I think y'all see it, yeah.
Oh my God. Y'all, my damn jaw was on the floor. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like,
okay, so we're gonna go one more time to the text message and let's look at the message that came Sunday. Thinking it's coleslaw phone. Hey. Now, mind you, I got a text, hey, in August. Sorry, hey. Girl, my jaw is on the floor from last night's episode. Okay, do y'all want to hear it one more time or no?
Stormy has finally broken her silence. And let's just say what she shared has people looking at this whole situation a little differently. While Martell kept quiet and speculation took over, Stormy decided it was time to clear the air, and not just with a statement. She got real about how the crash, the drama, and all the behind-the-scenes tension have affected everything and everyone involved. Now, for those who've been keeping up with Love and Marriage Huntsville, you already know Stormy's role in the show isn't just background noise. She's been front and center in the thick of the drama, balancing friendships, business, and trying to stay neutral in the middle of all the chaos. But that neutral stance? It's starting to shift. Because after Martell's shocking car accident, Stormy found herself caught in the speculation too. People started wondering what she knew if she was covering for Martell, or if she'd finally had enough of the whole mess, and now we know. Stormy's been holding back. She admitted that this accident shook everyone up. Behind the scenes, there's been tension boiling. According to her, Martell hasn't been the same. She talked about how his energy shifted even before the crash, and while she didn't come out and say he was spiraling, she hinted that something's been building for a while. And it all exploded with that accident. But what really turned heads? Stormy didn't just comment on Martell's condition, she called out the environment around him. The fake smiles, the pressure to keep up appearances, and the silent stress that's been eating away at their group dynamic. She made it clear. This isn't just about a car crash. This is about someone who's been pushing through problems that are finally catching up to him. And that's where things start to get even more complicated. So how does Stormy fit into all this chaos? And why did she choose now to speak up? Let's rewind the tape and break it all down.
Use you and not respect the fact that they did use you.
Martell Holt's recent late-night car crash wasn't just any accident. News broke fast, but details were scarce. No passengers were reported, no full police report was made public. And more importantly, Martell himself stayed completely silent. And that silence made everything worse. Some fans thought it might have just been a regular accident, maybe bad weather or a distraction, but others weren't buying it. The timing was weird, the lack of transparency even weirder. Then came the rumors. Some started saying Martell was emotionally unstable, that the crash might have been triggered by something deeper, stress, drama, maybe even something darker. He's had a lot going on lately, both in the public eye and behind the scenes, and people couldn't help but wonder if that pressure finally exploded. Others pointed to recklessness, fast driving, distracted energy, maybe even alcohol. No proof, just theories. But the fact that nobody was clearing things up only made the theories louder. And honestly, you can't blame people for asking questions. Martell's been visibly off in recent episodes of Love and Marriage. Huntsville, detached, moody, caught in tension with more than a few cast members. Some even said he looked like he was carrying a weight he couldn't talk about. So when the accident happened and nobody said a word, that silence became the story. Now here's where things get even more layered. Stormy Steele was silent after the crash, and fans noticed. People were tagging her, dropping her name in comment sections, asking where she stood. But she didn't respond, and that silence got people speculating even more, because Stormy has never been one to shy away from talking when it matters. So if she was quiet, that meant something. Behind the scenes, though, Stormy was watching everything. She saw the posts, the drama, the theories, and according to her, she chose to stay quiet for a reason. She wanted to get the full picture before jumping into the conversation. She didn't want to speak out of turn or react emotionally. She was letting the dust settle before deciding what needed to be said. But even while she was silent, fans were dragging her name into the drama. Some accused her of protecting Martell. Others said she was hiding something. And a few even questioned, whether she was being pressured by the network or cast not to say too much. And then, just when everyone thought she was staying out of it, Stormy broke her silence.
Right here that came to the phone and noticed it said, hey, hey. Can y'all see it? Yeah. Hey, hey. No comma in between, because grammatically it should have been a hey, comma, hey. But anyway, that's another day for another story. Can't teach y'all all that at one time. Girl, my jaw in on, you know they meant is on the floor from last night's episode. But I'm so glad Destiny called her out. And so who are they trying to text? Remember, this is a person thinking they're texting my ex's baby's mother. That's who they think they're texting. Are we clear on that? Because there's been a lot of stuff that I've been seeing that's just inaccurate. They thought they were, so it's someone who's friends with my ex's mother. I mean, my ex's baby mama, not his mama. My ex's baby mama, my ex's parent. That's who it is.
When Stormy finally decided to speak up, it wasn't in a dramatic post or a flashy interview. Instead, she did what she always does. She kept it calm, collected, but made sure her words hit hard. In a recent social media live, she didn't name names outright, but the message was clear. She was talking about Martell, and she was tired. Her comments weren't loud, but they were layered. Stormy started off by addressing how she had been quiet for a reason, saying, "I'm not the type to speak out until I've seen the whole picture." But she followed that with a few pointed statements that caught everyone's attention. One of the biggest moments came when she said, "Some people live in cycles. Chaos is their comfort zone. And eventually, if you stay close too long, it starts to bleed into your life too." That one line set the internet off. Fans instantly linked it to Martell, especially given how chaotic his personal life has been, from custody battles to public drama, and now this crash. Stormy's words painted a picture of someone who's been dealing with the fallout of Martell's mess for longer than she's let on. She also hinted very subtly that she knew things about Martell's mental state leading up to the crash. She didn't drop specifics, but she said she wasn't surprised when it happened, and that she had seen the storm coming for a while. That was enough to get people speculating. More than anything, Stormy's tone was what stood out. It wasn't angry, it was worn out. Like someone who had tried to stay neutral for as long as possible, but finally decided to stop protecting someone who doesn't protect themselves or anyone else.
What would you do if Sonny called you a bitch?
That word don't bother me.
Oh, that's...
Oh, let me laugh. Yeah, that was up.
Stormy and Martell's relationship has always been a bit complicated. On camera, they've shown support for each other at times, but you could always feel some friction under the surface. Now, with her recent comments, it's clear that tension has been brewing for a while and it's finally coming to the surface. A lot of that friction goes back to how their business and show relationships overlapped. Martell wanted loyalty, but Stormy has always made it clear she won't play the puppet. And during filming, there were moments that showed the cracks. She didn't always agree with how he moved, but she stayed respectful. Stormy's decision to speak up feels like a turning point. She's drawing a line. Her comments about people who drain the room and being tired of cleaning up other people's fires suggest she's no longer in Martell's corner, not emotionally, not professionally, and definitely not publicly. And honestly, that matters. Because for a long time, Stormy was one of the few people who still gave Martell the benefit of the doubt. Now that she's stepping back, it says a lot about how far things have fallen behind the scenes. The fact that she's speaking now also hints that she's done protecting his image, done pretending things are fine when they're not, and done letting his issues become hers. And if you thought that was dramatic, wait until you hear how Stormy's remarks tie directly into a new wave of legal, heat-headed Martell's way.
Of our lives, put some respect on it, because everything that you got now, you would not have touched anything if it would not have been us being friends to you and your family. That's why I don't like fake people.
Here's where things really start to heat up. Right after Martell's car crash, rumors began swirling about Melody Holt being tied to a new legal move, and not just in passing. Word is, Melody may be directly involved in a lawsuit connected to the crash, and it didn't take long before people started asking, who's feeding her the inside scoop? That's where Stormy comes back into focus. For months, Stormy kept her mouth shut, even as fans pressed her for answers. At first, people thought she was just trying to avoid the drama. But now, it's looking more and more like her silence was strategic. Sources close to the situation suggest Stormy may have been cooperating with Melody behind the scenes this whole time, possibly offering information only someone close to Martell would know. Not to sabotage, but maybe to protect herself and get clear of the storm she saw coming. Stormy hasn't confirmed any of this directly, but her latest comments made one thing very clear. She's no longer covering for Martell. And when you pair that with Melody's sudden legal involvement, it starts to look like Stormy's silence wasn't about loyalty. It was about timing. And the timing couldn't be more damaging for Martell. He's got pressure coming at him from every side. Public image shattered, cast members pulling back, and now a possible lawsuit that could drag even more of his personal life into the open. So where does this leave Martell? Because as Stormy distances herself and Melody braces for legal war, Martell's foundation is starting to crack fast. What's happening off camera is now starting to affect what we're going to see on camera. With Stormy seemingly siding with Melody, we're seeing the cast of love and marriage. Huntsville split in a way we haven't before. It's not just drama, it's alliances being reshaped in real time. Martell used to have enough charm to smooth over fights and pull people back into his corner, but now that charm isn't cutting it. He's getting more isolated, and people like Stormy, who once tried to play neutral, are openly creating distance. That shift is going to change everything moving forward. Stormy and Melody aligning is big. It sends a message. It shows that whatever beef Melody and Stormy may have had before isn't bigger than what Martell's bringing to the table now. That kind of realignment can cause major waves in how the show moves forward. Producers love drama, sure, but even they know when the energy shifts too far, it affects the whole vibe. If Martell continues losing allies and pushing people away, we might be looking at cast shakeups or even exits next season. The dynamics are shifting as everything goes out of control. One thing is clear, Martell isn't just fighting legal battles, he's fighting to keep what little support he has left. But do you guys think Stormy is done protecting Martell? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.